Production.
Yo, what is poppin'? Hope you guys have been having a great start to your year. We're going to get into a little breakdown here on Tesla, right? So for those of you who don't know, and they're always like, I hear this all the time, like, oh, Tesla, they're so overvalued, this, that, blah, blah, blah. For those of you who don't know what Tesla does, right? Essentially what they do is they design, develop, manufacture, and they sell, obviously, electric vehicles. That's what they're most known for. But other things that they do is energy storage. Okay, so for example, and also energy generation. So think about that: electric storage and energy generation. What is cool about that? They basically have a service where you could buy solar panels, place them on your roof, and then you could power your house with it. So these solar panels, they collect obviously voltage and current. You could store that voltage and current using one of their chargers and their batteries. So essentially, the power that you're getting from the solar panels, you could then use to store and power your house. Now, I think that's super cool, and I do think that in the future, this is going to be a lot more popular, especially when you start to see utility prices increase. People are going to want to start investing in making that cheaper. So Tesla does many different things along the lines of that. I also read a link in my Discord that I made. One of the homies in the Discord, they've been firing out not just charts, but other macroeconomic details and company details. One of them happened to be Tesla providing auto insurance. Interesting. That's another line of business. Now, what I think another thing that you don't want to sleep on here, I'm going to get into the chart shortly, but something you don't want to sleep on about Tesla. They have many patents when it comes to engineering and the manufacturing, the engineering behind their manufacturing, right? So this is important. You're going to see a lot of these companies in the future start to want to, for example, in Canada, they just signed a bill saying by 2030 something, we will not be able to buy regular vehicles. It's going to be electric vehicles only or hybrid vehicles only. Think about that. So Tesla being one of the very first electric vehicles, what they plan on doing is making a lot of their base models a lot more affordable. You're going to see Teslas drive around everywhere. Once you start to see these, for example, in the States, a lot of police departments are going to have their fleet all Tesla. Think about their autonomous driving, right? So there's endless amount of bullish factors that Tesla, what they do in their line of business. They're not just an electric vehicle company. They're basically an engineering AI company, right? Again, think about what they came out recently and said that they're probably going to be making robots. Sounds super far-fetched. I do agree that is a little bit further out in the future, but they're going to be fucking making robots, man. Do not sleep on this company just because you think there's some overvalued electric car company. So now let's get into the technicals. When we look at this, right, it's been a large drawdown. There's been this trend line here, right? You can't really see it right now, but this trend line right here has been holding us back. You could adjust this however you want, touching the wicks, but from what I see, this trend line was such a large resistance, we broke down. We didn't end up holding this support either. So factors of this, Elon Musk was selling a bunch of shares, right? So that would cause the price to drop. Now, what's happening is you see this, and of course, this is like it's basically the Burj Khalifa. Like, this is just what you see is price get driven up to an extreme, and now what we're watching is it slowly pull back to a mean. Now, this level that I have marked out, this is right at the beginning of 2020, and then there's the market crash of the COVID crash. I think we could come back to those levels and then start to create a base sideways. In the meantime, there's definitely going to be trades along the way. So one of the trades I'm partaking in right now is a swing trade gathering around the 120 zone, and I'm expecting it to curl up around to this 150 range right here. Now, I could be very wrong about this trade, but why I like it is because we're starting to see excitement come back into the market. You're starting to see, for example, look at the crypto space. It's starting to pump. A lot of these tech names are starting to turn around and bounce off their supports. You see Tesla that previously broke through a major support, and I'm expecting it to come back to its mean and get a solid bounce. Now, when I look at we'll say the 21 EMA, right? We look at the 21 EMA on Tesla, and the price of it is right at 188. Eventually it's going to come back down and meet somewhere, and I'm thinking that would probably line up around this 150 to 155 range, and that's where I will probably close out this trade before I do think it will go a little bit lower. But that's what I'm looking here on Tesla, right? So just for those who don't know, right, this is the trend we're looking at. It's a downtrend. We continuously make lower highs and lower lows. Right? So as we're doing this, we're breaking through supports, and what's happening now is we're going to need to see that recovery bounce. It's going to come here, and eventually we might need to fizzle out a little bit lower, if you see what I'm saying. So this is what we're looking at before we get that move. This is the major trend line. I do think that it's going to take a long time, but until we break up over this trend line here is when the bull action and the bull market will completely start again, because this is a major line that is holding us back. So that is the breakdown here on Tesla. Peace.